Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and in this video we will be doing a Greasy Grove POI analysis. Now, Greasy Grove is pretty similar to Rocky Reels. I went over that pretty briefly in my Rocky Reels video, and I'll explain why here. Sure, Greasy is bigger and there's a lot more loot, so let's just do the breakdown overview now. There are 34 chests in Greasy, with most of them honestly being like in this building here. That is not the size I want. Most of them being in this building over here, but the fight is going to happen oftentimes over here between these two buildings. So in terms of floor loot, there are 80 floor loot spawns here in Greasy. Again, most of them are throughout the houses, and they're all kind of combined to a house. Like, there's no floor loot spawns kind of out into the road, which does make it pretty easy and pretty fast in terms of looting, because you will be able to just run around and loot up quickly. Ammo boxes, there are 37 ammo boxes. Again, most of them over here in Burger. This is Burger, maybe it's a taco. I don't really know what it is, but in this restaurant over here, there are 2 weapon machines and 1 vending machine over here. So this is Splash, gas station, and then, I don't know, I'll just call it Burger, right here in Greasy. Now for cars, let's do web shooters first. So there is actually a web shooter spawn right here that you will be able to probably get most of the time, unless some split yoinks it and dips out and hits up here, hits over here, does something like that. But in most cases, you should be able to win this, grab your 2 web shooters, and then come back. Just because the fight at Greasy is super quick, dependent if only 2 teams land here and they both land at Splash here. If they split, then the fight might be a little bit longer. But in most cases, you should be able to grab these web shooters before someone else does. Now, as well as web shooters, you also have off-road tires and a shit ton of 4-doors. Now, again, like I've been explaining every time, 4-doors are needed if you're not going to land on Spider-Man. Just because the rotates with the 4-doors are so much nicer, you can use them all the way through the game. You can even use them to second move in, first move in, depending on how good you are with them and, your position in zone and stuff like that. But they are amazing for rotates because you get to sacrifice your time in a bit. You get to leave your POI later because you have a car to bail you out, compared to other POIs where you don't have a car spawn. So that's important. Rifts, the only rift spawn that you really have to worry about is back here. When you hear this popped, most time they're going to be doing something like that. So if you're unconned here, you can look up, see if you can find some easy surge on some guys gliding in. Even maybe a knock if you're a fucking laser. Surf truck doesn't matter. Barrels, there are 3 spawns in gas station and 1 over here in Durburger. Not really that big of a difference for early game. There is 1 up here as well. Doesn't really matter, honestly, for early game, but if you are unconned, then you might as well put them to use. Noms, there are 5 noms in Durburger and 1 in gas and 1 in this house over here. So if you do land Durburger, you are pretty chillin'. But the biggest kicker is that there are 4 coolers basically stacked on top of each other right here. And what this makes is that this is a really drop-oriented POI, because usually the team that lands here grabs the coolers. It's a 50-50 almost. Best drops, you land here, you find floor loot, and you fight over the coolers. Usually the team that wins this building will win the POI. That's just how it works. If you have better drops, you win. If you don't, you lose. That's if there's only 2 teams and they both con Splash, which is the most common thing. Now, let's say hypothetically there are 3 teams. So there's a con here, 2 teams land here, and the third land over here at Burger. Now that's good, because this team can third party, so they loot up, but they take a little bit of their time. Maybe they take like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and they loot up here, and then they push over into Splash. Because ideally what will happen is, because this is like the earliest game fight. If this is con, Greasy will probably be the first team to die, like out of this, because it's a super early fight, and they'll have like siphon mats. That's it. So what you would want to do is push over this ASAP, and ideally you want to join this fight just when this fight's about to end. That way, you third party, you pick up maybe 1 on this team and 2 on that team, so you're leaving with 3 kills already before the game, like before anyone else has any kills. So that is an option if Splash is conned. Now the downside is you won't know if it's conned unless you're in a set lobby. So if you land here and only 1 team lands here, maybe let's say they loot all this, and they splash, they loot this, and then they push you. Durburger is pretty like if you double con it, so you both land here, you can split it pretty quick. But if you split it and you do something like this, then you guys are split so far, and you have to run so far, while they're able to get full shields super quickly. It's only 2 splashes. Wait, how many splashes is it to get full? 5 splashes to get full, both of them. So if they get 4 and 4, they have 8 splashes. If they 4 again, that's 12 splashes there. and they can splash up and push over super fast. And that's worst case scenario because they'll have the loot advantage because they'll be able to loot everything quicker than you because they don't need to wait for their shields because they have so much splashes. And they'll have a ton of shield and basically completely catch you by surprise. So you will basically pretty much, to avoid this, you will have to double con your burger. You have to land one here and one here. And if this is uncon, so there's, again, they both land here or they do something. Usually when this spot's uncon, this gas station in here, they splash up, grab this, and then key. So what you can do is hopefully land here, grab an AR, have a little bloom fight here, maybe get some tags, or split this, loot, and then one person gets on the roof and you wait for them to make their way across like this. Or you sneak around, you're over here on this roof, you're over here on this roof, and you're basically waiting for them to get into this point here so you can have a pinch on them. Something like that. So you can pinch them, spray from both sides, waste their mats, waste their heals, and then hopefully eventually win the fight. Now, that's if 1 and 1. 2 and 1, burger wins. But in most cases, I would say you should be the team that aims for cooler because oftentimes, or splash, because oftentimes if they win this, they do win the actual drop in total. Now, if there's a shit ton of people con in, which is honestly a thing because Greasy tends to be honestly a really good POI. Let's say we have our double up over here. We have white and, or let's just do these two teams fight in here. Then we have blue who did something like this. So here's the fight we have here. So they fight one team, let's just say black wins. Black wins this over here. And then blue will probably end up trying to loot as much as possible because the houses are pretty shambles. So they might end up going over here or trying to loop around and loot this stuff. Now, what you can do is if you decided to fight blue like this, that gives black time to heal up and be the one that third parties. So that's bad. But if blue pushes up here and they fight here, then you can third party from this group and win. So that's kind of, you want to be the team that is the third one to enter a 1v1. So, or like team. So let's say this is two teams fighting. You want to be the team that enters like this and rolls up on them and sprays them both and hopefully kill them both is kind of the goal. Now, that's really, honestly, that's really it for Greasy. Something I've seen a bit in scrims is that a team will land on the zip line and tag you when you're dropping in like this because it is pretty free surge. You will fight on this roof here. So they'll just spam tag you here and you'll just get fucking lasered and end up losing because you landed on the roof. Because a common strategy is that you land right here on this roof, you pickaxe down and you grab the coolers and you'll actually beat people that have to run inside. So you grab the coolers but the downside is they land on the zip line and they just beam you while you're doing that. So you're dropping down with 30 HP, someone's already in the back door and then that's it. And you probably end up going to lose unless you somehow clutch up. Now, people around know that Greasy is kind of like this shambles POI. So you might actually get pushed really early. So if we think about Butter Barn, for example, they can push Rocky, which is a weird fight because they're going to be split if they're con probably, or they can push Greasy. And Greasy is, there's more places to rat around. You can chill around here before actually pushing in. So what they might do is do a quick loot, grab their car from the gas station, drive up here, and push you guys super early and end up winning because they're a third party in and they know you're going to be fighting over splash more than likely. Now the same thing can happen at the rifts. If they hear you, if they crack you here, and there's a team here and a team here and a team here, and they know that Greasy's going to be shambles, they might just walk around here like this and just go for surge tags on you guys while you guys are fucking brawling it out here, which is going to be annoying. So that's really it, honestly, for Greasy. It's a pretty simple thing. You win your drop here, you more than likely will win Greasy unless Burger is conned. So you should be aware of that when you're dropping in. Like if I'm dropping like this and I see a team over here, then I know, okay, Burger is going to be conned and they're going to push over early. So I have to end this fight like even faster. So as soon as we land, I have to kill somebody. And then we have to, play more defensive and heal up or get on the roof and try to catch them when they're coming over right there and hopefully kill them. In terms of surge spots, if you're conned, it doesn't really matter, but we have our tilted hills here, which are important. It's maybe you can go over here and onto some of the Camp Cuddle hills. You might be able to drive your way up onto Covert if that's not hit billboard. And then also the rocks around Risky is kind of your, ones you can get quickly. There's not really any good surge spots here because, who else is going to be rotating here? We have a split over here. We have a split here, and there might be a split in the back. These guys will rift, so they're not going to be tagged. That's really it in terms of for people that you can tag. So you will almost always have to rotate out of Greasy to actually find your surge. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the Greasy drop analysis. I've been slamming these out, so I might as well go into Covert next over here and do a Covert analysis as well. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you back again for the Covert analysis. Wait, I need 2 more seconds until I'm at 10 minutes. All right, 10 minutes now. Cheers.